WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app.
What up, War Room family? Welcome to another edition of Inside the War Room. This is the 2016 Oscars edition. You know, annually, me and my man Jim the Blueprint, we get on here and we talk to you guys about our Oscar picks. So we got Jimmy the Blueprint in the building, live from the Ritz. What's going on, Jim?
Ran off on the plug twice. Yo, just want to talk about the Oscars being so white and talk about the pictures as well, not just the controversy.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't speak on everything that surrounded this year's Academy Awards before we gave our actual picks on the movies. A little something different this year because time was of the essence. We had a lot going on this year, so unlike years past, I don't think either one of us saw every single movie in the major categories that we do. So our picks will definitely be based on, you know, the movies we saw in that category. So, you know, if you disagree with something, I mean, that doesn't matter anyway. But if you think we're leaving somebody out of the conversation period, it might be because we didn't see that movie. Yeah. And the major categories that we usually speak about, of course, are Best Director, Supporting Actress, Supporting Actor, Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Pick. Years past, we've done animated movies because I see a lot of those because of my kids. And we did music last year, but we did that basically because there was a really popular hip-hop song by Common and John Legend in there. There's not one of those this year, so we hating. So FOH to the music category. But look, as usual, and this episode is brought to you by War Room Sports and SportsTheBook.com. You can see that under Jimmy's profile. Make sure you go to SportsTheBook.com and cop SportsTheBook.com. If you call yourself a War Room Sports fan, then you got to have Sports the Book. Shout out to DirecTV. I bet that. All right, so look, before we give our picks, and I do want to emphasize picks like we always do, these are not predictions. We are not trying to predict who's going to win and who the Academy is going to pick. We're giving you our picks because we sat down and watched these movies. We don't give a damn what anybody else says. So, but before we do that, man, let's talk about, Jim, the controversy. We talked about it on a lot of different platforms. You got the hashtag Oscars so white. Like, what do you think about the situation and, you know, black people not being quote unquote recognized for what they're doing in Hollywood right now? What are your thoughts?
It's interesting, right? Because I have several thoughts on this. One is who the hell cares about the validation of the Oscars? But I also get the other side because the Academy is established and you want to be recognized for your work. So I totally get that, one, to be recognized for your work. Right. But I also the Oscars are only as powerful and hold as much weight as you give them. There are several other awards and people get nominated for awards in all kinds of other places and don't go. Specifically, our own award shows, and you know what I'm talking about when I say that. I see that Russell Simmons tried to create his Oscars this year. That was pretty funny. Some of those categories are pretty funny. I didn't watch it, but I think I will watch it if it's on demand or something. I know it came on Showtime, but I get both sides of it. Part of me feels like FOH with the Oscars because I went and looked after this controversy. Well, it's been a controversy for years at this point. Oscars so white didn't start this year, but this past year, because it, with the Will Smith and then the debate going back and forth, I started thinking about my favorite movies. So I wrote down all my favorite movies, my favorite performances, and most of the movies and stuff that I like didn't get nominated for an Oscar anyway. And although I do love hood flicks, all my favorite movies aren't hood flicks, by the way. Well, shout out to Master P and Menace and all that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual films that I like. Right. Most of them, they get it wrong all the time anyway. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I do understand wanting to be recognized for your body of work, and I think that this whole hashtag and controversy is nothing but a good thing because it allows us to have a conversation. Yeah. I know Chris Rock is going to go off tonight, and eventually they're going to be forced to make change because if you look at television has way more diversity. We have people of color, we have we have gays, we have Hispanics, we have all kinds of people on television. So television has already, still work can be done there as well, but they're far along than the movie. And I think this will help.
Shoot, I'm looking at the the Oscars and how it's evolved year after year. Shoot, white Americans might be starting to they might get upset just like us black people because half the people who nominated be English.
Yeah.
Like the English actors got it on lock these days.
I was gonna say something about that too, because like I feel like sometimes they overrate these English, like they love English accents with the Oscars. I tend to notice every year there's always someone with an English accent in one of these categories. Like you can't not have.
But you know what though? Sometimes I tend to think they do a better job of portraying like Americans than American actors do of portraying people from other countries. Like it doesn't really seem like the effort is put forth that much for American actors when they're trying to capture another accent and stuff like that. When you look at cats like
is that you throwing a shot at Will Smith or no?
No, because I'm throwing shots. I'm not even throwing shots at this. Ain't even a black actor thing. I'm throwing shots at white American actors who try to play people from other countries and they sound corny. But shout out to Will though, with his according to the Nigerians, his dollar store African accent. But no, I'm talking about the other people. Like when you get those English actors and they're playing people from other countries or even playing Americans, it's like they're doing a better job of crossing that line than we do. So it seemed like that's why they're getting a lot of the work. And that's I'm talking about white Oscar right now. But as far as the controversy goes,
so white.
yeah, that's the thing, and that's the point I was about to make. I think as far as the controversy goes, it seems like every year we're having this conversation when the Oscars come out. But I kind of think we need to step back to the root of the problem. It seems like everybody wants to blame the award show every year, but the award show is really, they have a pool to choose from, and they're choosing from a pool that's mostly white, and the movies are mostly white created and stuff like that. Like you said, Hollywood is so white. I think you got to go back to the casting couch, the casting directors, the producers, the people that are making these films and casting these films. A lot of the Hollywood is like the buddy system. A lot of people will write a script and actually have the actors and actresses in mind that they want for that script. And instead of being diverse and having like widespread auditions, I'm hearing that they're showing the script to the people they want to have, and if they take it, boom, that's it. So a lot of other people didn't really have a chance to get some of these diverse roles and things like that. And I think more of the blame just goes on Hollywood and instead of the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure the Oscars can, because I don't want it to be a situation where we start getting token nominees and token, they start, let's put that in there because it's black, and then it's some bullshit movie or some bullshit role. You know what I'm saying?
For the affirmative action Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, and Denzel, I think he may have gotten one of those with Training Day. Like, I didn't think Training Day was a movie that was even worthy of being, at the Oscar, at the Academy Awards. But he's had so many other,
but that's not
performances.
Just they always do that. They always do that. I mean, we'll talk about Revenant later, whether you think it was one of his best performances.
They might give Leo.
But they always. That was my point in the beginning. They get it wrong all the time. They get it wrong all the time, and they give makeup awards, like Rush give makeup calls. But that is part of the problem. Like it starts with the power structure. But that's why television is so great, and that's also why television is like in its golden age, because they have diversity. Television is where it's at now. So I wonder how long it will take for the movie business to actually catch up. Because most creatives now are going towards television because it's a better way to tell a story.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, you get more time to tell a story too. So, all right, so let's get into our picks. And like I mentioned to you guys earlier, we did music last year, but we could have easily done it this year. There's 5 songs. Jimmy and I pretty much get every piece of music that comes out. But no, we didn't listen to these 5 songs, so FOH to the original song category. Real quick, I just wanted to talk about the animated joint. See, I had more kids this year. So my son he saw most of these movies in this category, Jim, but this year, you had to let other people take them to the movies. Gotcha. So some of that stuff. So I'm just going to give mine. Like the only one I saw was Inside Out, and it was a pretty good animated flick. So my pick for animated goes to Inside Out. So let's get into some you know, the stuff that, you know, we dig and what we know our audience wants to talk about. Let's talk about Best Director. And the nominees in this category is Adam McKay for The Big Short, George Miller from Mad Max Fury Road, and we'll talk about that in depth a little bit later when we get the best pick. Alejandro Inarritu for The Revenant, Lenny Abramson for Room, and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. Like, what did you think? First of all, how many movies did you see in this actual category? And
I actually saw all these. I saw all these.
Okay. And I did too, actually. I saw all of these. Shout out to you for getting me The Big Short last minute.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, I saw all these. This was just tough for me. It came down to no, I'll break it down because I'm still trying to make my mind up. My final two were actually Lenny Abramson, whatever how you pronounce it. Because I was about to say Abrams, but it's not Abrams. No relation to JJ. Lenny Abrahamson. And yeah, man, like you said in the beginning, for those who weren't paying attention, these are our picks. Like, I don't know when you're gonna hear this audio or watch this video, but that has nothing to do with who they pick. These are our picks based upon their nomination. So in terms of the best director, and I was having a hard time because there's two that stood out to me, which was Lenny Abrahamson, no relation to JJ, and also Adam McKay with The Big Short. And I think I'm gonna go with Adam McKay, and here's why. This was a complex topic, but he found a way to tell a story and explain it in layman's terms by having the celebrities and the different people come in and break down a lot of complex terms. So I thought that was amazing. It added comedy to a serious story, but I think he did an amazing job telling that story. The Revenant was also a pretty good job of directing as well. So there's some strong contenders here, but I'm gonna go with Adam McKay just because of the way he told the story.
Stuff like The Revenant with Alejandro, things like that, I think they're always a little more difficult because first of all, you got to direct through nature, you know what I'm saying? And so you got a lot of little obstacles out there. And but at the same time, you got a lot of free space to do whatever you want. So I can definitely appreciate a job like The Revenant. I agree with you with Adam McKay and The Big Short. Because it was different the way he told that story. It was kind of Scorsese-like a little bit in the way, he flipped back and forth and did certain things, like you said, brought in people to explain stuff like that.
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, and another one that I definitely want to give props to, and actually I'm going to pick this one as my winner, is actually George Miller and Mad Max Fury Road. Now, like I said, we will talk about this movie later. Like, even though I thought the movie was pure booty do, I think, I always think it's like way more difficult when you have to direct a lot of action, a lot of big crowds, a lot of fight scenes and stuff like that. So I give George Miller, the props of his directing job. But when we talk about best pick, we will get into our feelings about this particular movie.
And the funny thing is, one of the categories we're not going to do, if I had to give Mad Max any category, it probably would be for like cinematography.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I appreciated that. Like, I was telling mine because I was watching the movie. I was like, the picture's amazing. Like, the action and the explosions, all this is amazing.
And that might have been the only thing that keep your attention in that bullshit.
Yeah, but the story was ass cheeks.
I can't believe that was nominated for best pick. But like I said, we will talk about that. You see, we're finding it hard not to talk about it right now. We're not supposed to be. All right, but so before we get into that, though, let's talk about an actress in a supporting role. And the nominees for this, Jennifer Jason Leigh of The Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara, Carol, Rachel McAdams, Spotlight, Alicia Vikander from The Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet from Steve Jobs. How many in this particular category did you end up watching?
About 3 of them, but I tried to watch a little bit of everything, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't make it through every movie. But my pick was to me personally, and I'm gonna explain to you why. I have a pick for this anyway, that it was Kate Winslet in Steve Jobs, and here's my reason why. Because I read the book. I also saw the other movie, The other Jobs movie,
Jobs.
with what's his face,
Uh,
who
Ashton
was
Kutcher.
it? Ashton Kutcher,
Which
yeah.
to me wasn't a bad movie, but this was
No,
just different.
it wasn't a bad movie. But after watching the Ashton Kutcher movie and then reading the book, which this one was based on, I was like, how are they going to make me even interested in this? And they found a completely different way to tell the story. Right. And a lot of it was because of the job that Kate Winslet did. Like, her character wasn't as prominent in the Ashton Kutcher movie. And to be quite honest, it wasn't as prominent in the book. Right. But they found a way to add her, make her a more prominent role in this movie. Not saying the actual person wasn't prominent, because she was mentioned in the book several times, but not like this. But I thought that she did a phenomenal job of making this story, because when I sat back after watching the movie, I was like, this didn't take place in a lot of different places. It was a lot of dialogue. It wasn't a lot of action, but she was an integral part in telling that story. So to me, she was far and away the best supporting actress, in my opinion. From what
I agree with you, actually. Because even though it was about Steve Jobs and Michael Fassbender did a hell of a job as Steve Jobs, she kind of seemed like that central character that kept the movie together.
The glue.
The glue, or the X factor, as you will, going back to our sports terminology. In this particular category, I saw everything except for Carol and the Hateful Eight. Had these movies, I just actually ran out of time. Actually, Jimmy, we started watching the Hateful Eight together, but I just felt like we were in an environment where I really couldn't pay attention to the movie, so I stopped watching it. And by the time I started my rush at home, like, that movie was 3 hours, I had to put it to the back burner. Like, I didn't have 3 hours to sit down and watch a movie and still be able to watch other ones. So I also picked Kate Winslet in this category. It was between Kate and Alicia Vikander from The Danish Girl. Shout out to Alicia, because the way she showed the emotion of having to watch her husband turn into Caitlyn Jenner throughout a movie, like, I think she did a wonderful job of showing that. And this was a difficult pick for me. I was leaning more towards picking her, but Kate Winslet, like you said, her performance was kind of the glue that made Steve Jobs a good movie. So we definitely agree on that one. So let's move to actor in a supporting role. And for me, this one was very difficult to pick. And the nominees in this one, and I saw all 5 of these films: Christian Bale in The Big Short, Tom Hardy in The Revenant, who was also in that piece of crap Mad Max, Mark Ruffalo, Spotlight, Mark Rylance of Bridge of Spies, and the homie Sly Sylvester Stallone of Creed. I'll start this one off. Like I said, this one for me was really difficult. Of course, Creed being one of the first movies I saw in this category, because I actually went to the theater to see Creed. I was impressed with Sylvester Stallone. It's been a long time since a Rocky movie, a movie in this franchise, actually had you thinking of it in the film, quote unquote, film matrix, where acting was key. Because, the first Rocky, probably Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, in my opinion, were of the original, movies in the franchise, were the best, quote unquote, films. But then my favorites go to like Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, because it may have gotten out of the realm of great acting and all that kind of stuff, but the story was just more interesting. It was more ignorance. It was just more fun to watch those movies. So he did a great job in that, man. I was also impressed with Mark Rylance in Bridge of Spies, man. His character was like so aloof, to be a spy. I mean, but it seems like, you have to kind of be that way if you're a spy that doesn't want to give any information. Christian Bale, his character in The Big Short, first of all, he was hilarious. His arrogance made him hilarious, but his arrogance was like weird arrogance. He's like a weirdo that was really arrogant. Tom Hardy in The Revenant, whatever. I mean, I give him props for being an English dude who spoke like a Southerner from the United States.
You didn't like him in that?
I didn't dislike him. I mean, he's one of the guys who actually made the movie, because when you and we'll talk about this with the best actors, this was kind of Leo's Castaway. Everybody, that's their thing now. You have to have your Castaway movie to get nominated. So Matt Damon had his Castaway this year with The Martian. Leo had his Castaway. Will had his Castaway with I Am Legend. Of course, he didn't get nominated because he's black. Um, Mark Ruffalo also liked his character in Spotlight, and I gave him my pick because of the emotion that he showed within his character. And, you know, when it comes to these acting joints, I'm a sucker for emotion. I mean, cats can make themselves cry, or they can just make themselves look passionate. They can get their Tupac on from Juice. You know, I'm impressed by that. So I picked Mark Ruffalo on this one.
I mean, you said a lot that I was going to say. For me, this is the single hardest category. You know, because I remember leaving the movie, seeing Creed, and I was telling you, I was like, "Yo, how Sylvester Stallone actually become a good actor at his old age?" Because he was, as much as I love the Rocky movies, he can never act
physical anymore. So I got to work on my craft.
Christian Bale was amazing. Mark Rylance was also amazing. What's that line he used to say? Will it make it better?
Yeah, he's like, shit. He was just like, yo, should I? Like, would that make it better?
Like, Mark Ruffalo is funny, right? Because a lot of these are based on true stories. A lot of these films that are in all these categories. So after watching Spotlight, I went and looked up the actual real people. And Mark Ruffalo is a weird looking dude, and he looks just like the dude that
you gotta give him points for that.
No, which made it even better, right? But here's you know, to me, this is another way, and it's gonna be like, I guess, the theme of all my picks. I'm taking Tom Hardy, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
That movie doesn't work without him, and he really had me agitated. I wanted to give him. I wanted
didn't like him, right?
Give him personally. Yeah, so like
that's true. That's an actor. If he can get under your skin, or if he can make you love him, that's a great.
Exactly. So for me, that's what works when I watch movies. Like someone that really like pisses me off, or like you said, makes me love him to that point. Like
I got like Joaquin Phoenix and Gladiator.
Yeah, like yo,
hate that motherfucker.
You gotta give you credit because you really made me hate you. Now I might still steal you if I see you in the street. So like, I gotta give you credit.
Well, you got to, because he made that Mad Max shit. So
yeah, yeah. So I'll give him a nod for the best supporting actor.
Cool. That's a great pick, and that's a great point. Like, you know, because I had those same emotions watching the movie. Like, yo, this dude is a fucking douchebag. Like, so you do a great job when you can get people like emotional while they're watching the movie. The bad part about Spotlight, because I thought it was a good movie, but I realized like 2 days ago that subconsciously I must not have thought it was a good movie, because I started watching it 2 days ago and just realized I already saw this. Yo, the first 5 minutes was a case of crazy deja vu, and then I started fast. I'm like, yo, I've seen that. I watched this already. Watched it like 3 weeks ago.
And so, I know we're not talking about Best Picture, but the thing about it Spotlight with me is like it was a good movie, but it was like after it was over, it was just over. Like
yeah, and obviously that's what my mind thought.
I mean, we all know the story, so I think that's part of it. And it's like, you know, it's like not that it's too late at this point, but maybe if this would have came out years later or sooner. But like right now, it's just like.
Well, the fact that I almost watched it twice because I forgot that I'd watched it a few weeks ago, that tells you pretty much that I didn't pick it as my winner for Best Picture.
I was about to say, so we already know that neither one of us picked it.
If I picked it, that'd be like how the hell are you going to pick that after he just said he forgot that he saw it?
Neither one of us probably, you could tell neither one of us picked that. But that was one of them joints where I watched it. It was like, okay, all right, so
it was good,
I'll never watch it again in life. But, you know, you
good.
did. Just because you didn't realize you did.
All right, so let's go to actress in a leading role. We have, you know, the incomparable Cate Blanchett and Carol. Unfortunately, I didn't get around to seeing that. I have like 3 more that I needed to see. Carol, The Hateful Eight, and I think one more. We have Brie Larson in Room, Jennifer Lawrence in Joy. Did get to see that. Charlotte Rampling in 45 Years, and I did not want to have to try to pronounce her name. Saoirse Ronan in Brooklyn.
Chick from Brooklyn.
The chick from Brooklyn. What were your thoughts on this category?
All right. This category is always tough. Seems like every year, this is a tough category. But to me, again,
which ones did you watch?
Let me see. Room, Brooklyn, Joy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing, though.
Same as me.
Brie Larson stood out to me. That whole movie just like, you know, was crazy.
It's
I didn't
disturbing.
think it was very disturbing, but like it bothered me for days after the fact. It still bothered me. I can't. I still think that like Jack is a real person. I'm having trouble like coming to grips with the fact that it was just a movie. Um,
And Room was like another planet.
you know,
Like Room was not the room. Room was another planet.
did it shrink? But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yo, it's like Mercury, Earth, Venus, Room. I know I probably said that in the wrong order.
yo, so for those who are listening, already know that I picked Brie Larson. Like she did an amazing job. Like, and she showed emotion for you too, Dev. Like,
Yeah. So
you know, she told her mom, like, if you weren't in my head telling me to be nice, then I wouldn't have helped the man with the dog. Like, oh, come on, man.
Wouldn't got raped for 7 years. And
Yeah. I mean, she could have got raped by a bear. Like, anyway, but
Bear did the thing to the boy.
yo, so I'm taking Brie Larson in the room, man.
I'm taking Brie Larson as well, and I thought the other two I thought they were strong performances.
Yeah.
You know, in Brooklyn, I think, like you said, the emotion started to come out of me because when her character went back to Ireland and she started to thought it out on my man, even though she had already married him in America, like I started to get a little frustrated. But I don't really know if that was actually her character doing that to me or it was just the way it was written. Like she married my man who was nothing but good to her, and then she go back home and start seeing this other dude. It might have just been the way the script was written. I mean, I thought I thought it was her performance was good.
Yeah.
But you know what took away points for me, and this is probably unfair because Americans play Americans all the time. She was an Irish chick playing an Irish chick. So I had to take away a little bit of points. Like, expand your game. Do something different.
He played a good thought.
Jennifer Lawrence is Jennifer Lawrence. And, the way they like her and love her in Hollywood now, they mess around and give it to her. But I'm going to go with Brie Larson as well on this one, Jim. Room was disturbing. I think the real star of the movie was the little boy.
Yo, he should have been nominated for every award tonight.
Yeah, because and he didn't get his nomination, and it's probably because they're thinking, oh, if he's that good, he's going to get another chance. But that's not how you look at it. Just like sports, because you made the Super Bowl once, don't mean you're going to be back. So
shout out Dan Marino.
He was the star of the movie, but I give her the nod for this particular category. So shout out to Brie Larson in Room, that planet we call Room. All right, so let's go to actor in a leading role. We got Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Matt Damon for The Martian, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Michael Fassbender, Steve Jobs, and Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl. I saw I can't say I saw every movie in this category because I was watching Trumbo last night, but really Trumbo was watching me last night. So I really can't speak on Bryan Cranston's performance, and that's actually a little disappointing to me because from everything I saw and the previews and everything, I thought that he probably would end up having one of the stronger performances. So if he had the performance I expected, I don't know yet because I still haven't gotten a chance to see it. So in all fairness, I really can't add him to the mix on this. Matt Damon, as I mentioned earlier, had his Castaway moment and was very good at it. Leo, he had a little bit, a lot of that movie was his Castaway moment as well. And Leo is Leo, man. He's a great actor, and he'll probably get it for Lifetime Achievement this year because he deserved it in so many more roles. Michael Fassbender, I think, did a hell of a job with Steve Jobs, another one of those foreign dudes playing an American, and you don't really know that he's foreign unless you know him or you hear him in an interview. And Eddie Redmayne in The Danish Girl, man. For me, I think I'm going to have to go back-to-back with Eddie Redmayne. This wasn't his Steve Hawking performance, but to watch this man and his transformation from man to woman and just the way he played it and just made it so believable, I'm going to have to go with Eddie Redmayne on back-to-back picks, man.
Yeah, we all know
He that dude.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Or he's that chick.
He's amazing, and there's an agenda. They may give him the award, just because Oscars is so white, so they can at least say that, we cater to a specific audience. But listen, man, a lot of these
Oscars so gay.
Bryan Cranston is an amazing actor, by the way, and Michael Fassbender did a good job. Matt Damon was amazing because when the movie first started, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like this movie. And I found myself like, and all of it was because of his performance. I found myself loving the movie.
Wait a minute. Before you say that, I know exactly why you thought that. Because if people remember our video from 2 years ago, Jimmy absolutely hated the joint with Sandra Bullock.
Yo, still do. And I'm glad Matt Damon made this movie to kind of like poop on her movie because this is way better than her movie. But with all that being said, man, I'm gonna give it to Leo, man, because Leo just proved to me in this movie that, like, you know, about 85% of communication is nonverbal. Because my man barely spoke throughout this movie.
He did pain very well.
Yo, and I understood everything he was saying, even though he wasn't saying anything.
It hurt, dude.
Yo, plus, when you get Ben Roethlisberger by a bear, you have to win. Like, no way you get the kind of punishment from a bear and you just don't win.
Said, don't say nothing. Just give it here. You never should have hollered at me.
I'm taking Leo, man. I think Leo is falling into the category of like another sports analogy, like the Bill Belichick's or the Greg Popovich's, where they're so they're so good that you don't even nominate them anymore or think about them as being the best because they're just so consistent.
Well, you nominate him, but he don't win
you don't win.
You always get nominated.
You don't win because they're just that good, and I think he's getting into that category. But so he has to at least give him one, then you can start pooping him again. But he is that good of an actor, man. Like,
and to let you know, like, out of this category, Leo is definitely in my top two. And like I said, for me, it wouldn't be bad to see him win. I'm out of this category. I'm a Leo fan more than any of these dudes. So I hope he wins. He's not exactly my pick, but I get what you're saying. That nonverbal communication. I mean, that's when you get your Castaway rolled. I mean, that's what you got to do. And this dude, he played pain very well. I know he was in a lot of it after Big Bear did
my man slept inside a horse, B.
Only thing, because we were talking about that, my wife and I was like, that it's been done before though. Don't forget the Star Wars, John, when Hans had to cut open that camel-looking thing so Luke wouldn't freeze. But can you imagine how that has to smell? That has to smell awful.
Think about that. To smell the whole movie, my man had to smell like, It's like, come on, man. Like,
it looked like everybody in that movie stunk.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the cover of the film, like his mouth looked like it stank on the cover of the film. All right, so let's get to the big award of the night, and that is Best Picture. We have The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max, Bring 'Em Home. Oh, I said Bring 'Em Home. The Martian, because the front of the cover says Bring Him Home.
I know.
The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. And I believe you have too, saw every movie in this category. You saved me on this one, actually. You threw me The Big Short in the fourth quarter. And I got to watch that before I was too sleepy to watch Trumbo. I think there were some good movies in this category. I don't think this was like the strongest best pick category we've ever seen. But shout out to Room, which was a very good film. Spotlight, like you said. Bridge of Spies. Even Brooklyn for me, I think you thought it was a little bit slow. I thought they were all good films, but they're probably nothing that I'm ever going to watch again. The ones that probably have a chance of me watching again is probably The Martian and definitely The Big Short. Before I tell you which one of those I picked to win, I promised you guys that I would shit on Mad Max when we got to this category. Mad Max was like 600-degree feces, man. This was like hot refuse from beginning to end. It actually took me 3 sit-downs to get through it. It was that bad for me. Like you said earlier, like the video, the picture, the cinematography, that kind of stuff is really the only thing that could get me through it. So I sound like one of those dumb humans, like, ooh, pretty pictures. Like, that was what allowed me to get to Mad Max. But I do not understand how this movie got nominated as a best pick. Like, I think that spot could have gone to Creed. And I know you had a list of movies that the spot probably could have gone.
Man, listen. Because my thing is this, right? I understand a lot of times you don't put action flicks in there, but this joint wasn't better than Fast 7. Because here's the thing, right? when it first came out, and you know, the whole Oscar so white thing, and
They could have put a Marvel movie.
Will Smith wasn't nominated or Creed wasn't nominated. I was like, all right, well, let me see everything first, and then I'll see whether it deserves. Yo, once I watched that, I was like, yo, Oscars is racist, B. Like, you know,
because of Mad Max.
Just because of Mad Max. Like, yo, there's no way that's better than Creed. Yo, I don't
even have a spark when it started.
Yo, that joint been garbage. Yeah,
it was just garbage.
Yeah, that joint was
shout out to Mel Gibson in the original. Like, I was young, so I probably could appreciate it. I probably got to be younger to appreciate this bull. That didn't seem that it was this bad to me. Like, this was just bad, yo.
Yeah, that joint wasn't as bad. I mean, you know,
it wasn't even good.
Shout out to Tupac and California Love, because that's the best rendition of Mad Max there is. But outside of that, man, like that joint was just poo-poo, man. Like, I can't believe that this made it with, you know, the different films, because there's a lot of films that came out that, I mean, Straight Outta Compton was a good movie, and we liked it for other reasons because it's nostalgic. But in terms of being a film, it was better than Mad Max. I mean, to me, Creed is the bigger, because I did like Concussion, but Creed is something I'm going to watch.
Could have won this category.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me, Creed is the movie that, out of all the movies that came out this year, Creed is something I'll probably watch the most.
Yeah, I've already seen it 3 times. It's well written,
exactly,
well acted. Michael B. Jordan, y'all know that's my young boy.
Tear the city up.
I'm drawing a blank. What was Sandra Bullock's movie name that you hated? The Space Jam 2 years ago.
What was Sandra Bullock's Space Jam that I Gravity.
What was Mad Max worse than Gravity? Because you absolutely hated Gravity. I didn't hate it like you hated it. I thought it was all right.
I think they're both like, it's like
that was her Castaway movie. By
I'm comparing poop and doo doo, but it's like the one thing about Mad Max, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably watch it more than Gravity just because of the action. Because
Mad Max was loose doo doo though.
Yeah,
that shit was diarrhea, man.
Yo, it's amazing. You said it's loose doo doo and gave Boy Best Director.
All right. Well, look, I know. I mean, yeah. Best director. I guess it was something okay about it. I mean, you had to direct your ass off to make that kind of movie, but maybe he didn't write it. Whoever wrote it, maybe he did. But if he wrote it, then shame on him. But if he didn't, like whoever wrote it, that's doodle, man. I'm gonna go with, and shout out to you, because it wouldn't have been possible if you didn't hit me in the fourth quarter. I'm gonna go with The Big Short as my pick on this. It was very relatable. I mean, both of us were involved in the real estate market at that time and the collapse thereof. Shout out to B. Austin. He was really, really an integral part in the market collapse.
I'm surprised he didn't make the movie. The reason that shit was on my fault.
He should have been in it. He should have had the point. He should have been like in Schmidt's crew. I only know him as Schmidt from New Girl. You know the dude I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he also should have been in the scene with his crew. He was one of them dudes during the collapse of the housing market. I thought it was a very relatable topic. I was interested from beginning to end, and so I might be a little biased. But it was well made. It was very well made, and it's something that I'll watch again. You know, it's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street type joint to me.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely watch that again. So Big Short, shout out to all of those guys, and I thought the cast was stellar.
Amazing. Here's the thing with The Big Short, right? Because out of all these movies, again, I like a lot of them. I thought that The Bridge of Spies was an excellent movie. The Martian.
Hanks is that dude too.
Spotlight was good. Revenant was good. Again, this came down to the 2 movies that I had a problem with the best director for, which was The Big Short and Room for me, right? So I think that whoever wins best director, the other will win best picture, and vice versa, if that makes any sense. So because I picked The Big Short for best director, I'm going to pick The Room for film, because this is a movie that I don't even know how many times I can watch it just because of how it disturbed me. But I think this is a movie that will stick with me. I probably will watch The Big Short more, but I'll remember The Room. Like, I just will remember the character Jack. I'll remember the character Jack, because I'm still having a hard time realizing that he is just a character. You know, but The Big Short to me was a standout film just because of the way the story was told. I didn't want to, you know, like you said, you know, I work in real estate, so I didn't want to bring my bias to it. But it was just well told. But The Room was also well told. In The Room, like, yo, it's gonna bother me forever. When we had him when he finally got free, right? And he had him in a truck, and they were like, oh, well, hold up. And the neighbor was saying, hold up. And he straight threw him to the side, like, that bitch. Like, yo, yo, yo. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
telling you,
mean,
in certain parts of that movie, I'm just like,
plus at that point he probably figured there was no way that this kid would be able to get the
exactly.
authorities back to that shed. That was a great movie, man. Like you said, I
Yo,
probably won't watch it again, and it's not because it wasn't great.
I
It's just
can't
like
watch it.
you
Yo,
don't
I
want to go through
emotionally
that
can't watch that no more.
emotional roller coaster.
No, I
Yeah,
can't
like,
watch it. So my thing is just like I talked about a performance. Like when a movie does that to me, I think that it was one of the best films. It's between that and The Big Short for me, and whoever wins for director, the other one for best film. So I am picking The Big Short for best director because of the way the story was told. So I'm going to
right,
pick the one for my best picture. And the funny thing is, going into it is no way I would have thought just based upon what the stories were that I would be picking this movie.
right,
But
right.
can't judge a book by its cover. Once I watched it, I was like, yo, I was bothered for like days.
And what I try to do, I'm not even gonna lie to you and say that I'm always successful. What I try to do when I watch the Oscar nominated films, I try to go in with it with as little knowledge of the movie as possible. I don't read synopses, I don't look at
Mhm,
trailers and all that kind of stuff. If a movie is kind of slow, like then like
mhm,
I might peep the IMDb page real quick and read what it's about because I'm
mhm,
like, all right, this has to keep this has to keep me involved. So
mhm.
let me go see what it's about because right now is doo doo juice. So I got to see what it's about. And if it looks like something good, I'm like, okay, I can look forward to this. But most times I go in not knowing anything about the movie, and I didn't know anything about Room, once it started. But
Yeah.
once it started, I'm not even gonna call a movie predictable, but before they told you what they were going through, I started to kind of figure it out. Like, yo, are they trapped in this place? Like, you
Yeah.
know, and then it started to make sense. That was a very good movie. Even though I went with The Big Short, like, I'm not mad
Yo.
at you for that as well.
And shout out to the young boy. His real name is what's it, Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah, he killed
Because
that man.
at this point, there's nowhere to go but down for your career because there's no way you can outdo that.
Little
So shout out
McAllister ass young boy.
to yo, nowhere for
he,
you to go, man. Like Haley
he,
Joel Osment
I was
and
about to say he about to sixth sense
Dakota
this
Fanning.
game.
Like it's nowhere for you to go. And by the way, he's another he's a Canadian kid because the Canadians are taking over culture.
Yeah,
But
they killing
uh,
America. First, like inside of America, black people can't get props, but shoot, white people they starting to lose too. Their only saving grace is that these other folks from all these other places are still considered white.
yeah, but he was definitely phenomenal. Like he should have been the best actor. He carried that movie and
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
was amazing.
He got robbed. Creed got robbed, and black people all across Hollywood got
Yeah.
robbed.
But
As-
the
but like I
one
said,
thing
that's
about
a
that is
problem.
like I mentioned
Not really.
like I mentioned earlier though, I'm looking forward to Chris Rock because I know Chris Rock, one of my favorite comedians of all
Yeah,
time.
he got
Intelligent
jokes.
guy.
It's
I know
coming.
I know he gonna bring it. So looking forward to that. But yeah, man. So I'm
He's
going
done
with
this
the room.
before, but I think after this one, he might not get invited back.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Because he
heard
has to have that balance. People are telling him, "Oh, you shouldn't do it," but Chris, like, first of all, I still gotta get my check. I don't want to commit career suicide, but what I'm gonna do, and which we know he's gonna do, because he's always done, he's gonna go and he's gonna tell the truth. He's gonna speak his mind,
and
and
they
he's gonna
said
make.
that and they said that he was writing with Dave Chappelle for this John. Like him and Chappelle got together
Shit.
and and did their thing. So
Oh,
we'll see what happens.
yeah, it's about to be. It's about to be like what I call brilliant ignorance. It's
Yo,
gonna be brilliant ignorance.
you know what's good is when you start feeling uncomfortable at home, like, oh,
I don't know. All right, so those are our 2016 picks for the 88th edition of the Academy Awards. I hope you guys watch the video first of all, because I know a lot of people that are boycotting this thing. I mean, a lot of people who claim to be boycotting don't watch Oscars anyway,
yeah, y'all can
and
watch
don't
us.
watch. Yeah, but you don't have to boycott us because we address the controversy. That's what we do here at War
Well,
Room
I'm so
Sports.
black.
War Room So Black. So look, make sure you like the page first so you know whenever we make a video, because we talk about all kinds of stuff, mostly sports, but we talk about everything. Make sure you click the like button on this particular video. We want to hear your picks. Put your picks in the comment section. Put your thoughts on hashtag Oscar So White in the comment section. But just make sure you support and watch the video. Make sure you pick up Sports the Book. Just go to sportsthebook.com or warroomsports.com. It'll be the best read you've had this year. I promise you that. until one of our next books come out.
That's right.
So look, like we always tell you guys, man, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance.
You chumps on top. War Room So Black.
Chris Rock, do your thing.
Kuwait is the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.